Hey, g'day, everybody. Where are we? Here we are. Hey,
Hey.
I'm not even set up today. Everything's all backwards. Hey, g'day. It's Saturday here. Hope you had a good week. Hope you enjoyed last week's show on Jules, Bitter and the Sweet, our pirate show of Nano Girl. I enjoyed it immensely.
I did too. That was a lot of fun.
So yeah, g'day Jules, g'day Nese. Nese's muted at the moment, that's okay. When he drops in. So what have we got for today? What have I got for you today? I've got we're going to look at the sunglasses that what that guy start again. G'day. Today we're going to look at okay, the sunglasses they wore in They Live. I really wish I had a pair of them. Ever since I watched that movie when I was young, I always wanted a pair of them glasses, but I realised we got one here.
Mm-hmm.
Did I? But what I did find is that they really exist, kinda, those glasses, and we're going to take a look at them. We're going to have a nice yarn to Nese.
Cool.
Because I want to talk about our overlords. And we got some more beings that I showed once on another show. I've got some of them to show you at the end of the show.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah. So hey, Nese, welcome.
The views and opinions that are shared in tonight's broadcast are solely those that express them. Please do not take them to mind, body, heart, and spiritual essence. We are sharing only in the hopes that you shall find your answers to provide positivity throughout your experience as you exist within the universe. And if you have a challenge with any of these things that we say, please remember the kitty cat, tough titty, said the kitty when the milk went dry.
Love that one, Nose. So, how you been, Nose?
I have been as fantastic as the universe will allow.
Anything interesting happened to you this week?
Well, let's see. The state of Minnesota denied my application of my authenticity of candidacy for governor.
Okay.
The county went after me for property taxes, and the state of Minnesota seized my house.
Okay.
The grant programs that were allowed to go through to refinish my home, put in new hardwood floors, fix my central air conditioner, put a deck on the front of my house with a new ramp was denied.
Whoa.
And I'm crying big crocodile tears because life is so unfair. I'm kidding.
It's not life, it's them. Everyone else is okay.
Well, it is what it was.
Defensive.
You know, I'm trying to keep my sanity, or would I rather be insane if we take a generalization of what is or not happening?
Insane. Well, I've always said you got to be mad to live in this world anyway, and if you're not going to cope well. So you have to have some degree of craziness. Otherwise, you don't cope here because it's crazy.
And I guess that's why I fit in this world.
That's why you fit in this world.
Those random bouts of craziness.
Yeah, I'm an obtuse peg trying to fit inside a polygon.
That's square and round. Yeah, I get it. You had me going a minute there. I'm thinking, what? No, it's all good. I'm just lining up. Okay, them glasses, what they Dysonine. Dyson glasses is what we're going to look at. That's what Roddy wore in They Live. Dyson glasses. But I'm not in a hurry to get there.
While you're looking up those glasses, people have made comments to me being blind, and they're pondering, why don't I just get a pair of glasses like a lot of blind people do? They'll get those black glasses. And I tell them that I just keep my eyes closed, because then most people assume I'm sleeping and won't bother me.
I like that train of thought.
So do I.
This is.
Oh, sorry. I'm just lining up. I should have done all this before I actually got on, but yeah, it's Saturday.
No, it's your morning, so it's all good.
She's just kidding. She likes to act like she's unprofessional, but all this stuff was ready 2 days ago.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I prepared it last night. I prepared one beforehand. I got it ready last night. But
what's the expression? Fake it till you make it?
No, I don't like fake things. All right. If it's fake, it ain't real, right? All right.
Well, I did put on some makeup before today's show.
Yeah, drew me.
I'm glad one of us did, because it's been a very long. I'm not going to say stressful. It wasn't stressful. It was to be expected, but there was just some kind of extra energy going around this week. And I got right in the middle of it during the work week. So I'm frazzled. I got one more day to go, but I'll get by. Yeah, so I'm here like tired and typical into the work week.
You mean I can dodge bullets? No. When you understand, you won't need to. Neo? Morpheus?
Oh, yes.
The Matrix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I heard something yesterday that popped in. Are we living in the Matrix? We know this isn't real. Actually, that's what I was thinking about the other day. Let's estimate all the things we know that are real now. Like everyone talks about them. Like we know Tartaria and all that place, that kingdom that once existed is real, because people have done their research and they found flags and all that from the people they tried to rub out. And there's even short videos now you can watch where they tell you that they tried to get rid of them. So we can tick that and say that those people were real. We can say giant trees were real. We can say giants were real. We know spirits are real. Like there's a whole list of stuff that we can actually tick now and go, yeah, we've confirmed that it actually exists. I think we should do that.
Technically, I could say that this mole on my forearm is an advanced entity from a galaxy on the other side of the universe that is transmitting the answers to any and every question that is presented before me. And we're thinking about going on the road and have it be, there's really a mole inside of me for you. You doubt me? Ask me a question.
Yeah, so for some reason, when I'm over at your house, Luna, I can't get on my phone. My device is away. I'm at the computer, and I'm not able to get into YouTube without making a bunch of background noise. And for some reason, I can't chat in here with you guys. But I see Joe and Buzz. Just want to wish you guys a good evening. And anyone else that may be here that I haven't seen.
So you've got the comments in the StreamYard room. Can you see them? Yeah, I can't access YouTube because it's my page. I don't know how to get it up online at the same time.
Yeah, I've got the comments thing up, and it goes all the way down. It's not giving me like a little block to type in. So it is what it is. I mean,
change your size of your screen. It might pop up then. I don't know. Today I'm going to show you some stuff from TikTok and that. And I might get in trouble and I might not be here next week, but it's worth looking at. So I figured I'd take the risk. And it's to do with the magic glasses. So, and in talking about that, that's why I want to talk about the overlords too, because in that show They Live, the glasses showed you who the overlords were. Like, we pretty well can guess it now. Because they're starting to reveal themselves. But yeah, all right.
Well, should we possibly talk about our oogly googlies or about the miraculous perfection of unique individuals in the chat room? Question mark.
We can talk about both of them, but before I get in conversation and I lose train of thought, me and Luna were briefly yarning last night, and can't say I'm speaking for Lena. I mean, sorry, Luna. I have a friend named Lena.
It's soldiers.
Sorry, that's all right.
But anyhow, yeah, when we were yarning, last week, me and Luna got a chance to catch up with Nano Girl, and we were all yarning, and it made me realize that I miss the old Discord discussion and roundtable. So before I lose my train of thought, so we hopefully starting tomorrow night, even if we're just there to congregate, we're thinking about doing a Discord discussion or a roundtable, and I haven't had a chance to catch up with you today, Luna, but if that doesn't pan out, I still am going to be there because I think it's a good time where we need to congregate and have like just a box to stand on, or a place to vent, or a place to let the salt flow. I mean, there's so many emotions out there, and I just think that it's a great opportunity for people to come together for fellowship and just be. So sorry for sidetracking. I just wanted to get that out there, because there is, apart from YouTube, there's still a community out there where we can congregate and be with each other.
Yeah, that's good. And I will be there tomorrow because I've got nothing happening here. Everyone else is going out and it'll be nice and quiet. So yeah, tomorrow we just need a subject, and I encourage everyone to jump in and be a part of it. It's not the kind of thing like the show where we're hosting it. It's
we could talk about current events.
Currents and sultanas.
That, because there's a lot of things going around right now, all pertaining to the 24th, and a lot of it I probably shouldn't really talk about it here, but I have questions about the 24th and everything. So
and Y2K and 2012.
Today's the 24th here. Is that what you're talking about?
And the new moon.
Well, because it could be anywhere from the 23rd to the 25th, but with the particular things that kind of tie around into what's going on. Oh crap! I threw away my list, but there's a lot of stuff. A lot of these science fiction shows that premiered or debuted were all on the 23rd of September. The whole conflict we got going on now, the whole people are brushing up on their Bible. I mean, there's all these little things that are just out there, energies creating something.
Yep.
So,
and it's the new moon.
And it is the new moon.
And the almighty pinky toenail has been upset for the last couple months.
The Queen's mourning is officially over. the new reign starts on the 24th.
Morning is over. I only want to see you smiling in the purple rain of terror. Reign of Terror. Welcome, welcome. Royal blue, royal purple, royal red.
Talking about royal, it was something
And
I wanted to bring up about that. I wanted to bring something up about that. As we all know, our beloved Queen has passed away and moved on to the spirit world, or has she? Because I watched a short thing on her funeral, and over the commentation or whoever was presenting it and talking, somebody whispered she thinks she's going to live eternally, but she's actually trapped. And it was a woman's voice whispered over the proceedings what was happening. And I'm thinking, whoa, that's so true. And I kept saying they were putting her in another body. And I think they've put her in something and she's realised she's trapped now because it's not the natural way to go. So.
Ooh, I wonder if they trapped her spirit in a divot box.
It's easier to put it in a walnut.
Yeah, it was just something I found. I thought it was funny that something like that would happen, considering we all kind of thought that stuff like that was happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Thanks, Buzz.
Oh, hang on. I'm still figuring out me navigating this world. Hang on.
So, Jules, with your 23 possibility, do you got a question to ask the mole and me?
Yeah, I got a question. Is the sun really hot, like fire that we have when you build a fire?
Okay. Did you hear that, Mr. Mole?
Yeah, I heard it, but I'm really busy right now. Ask me later.
That would be even more impressive if Stephen Hawking's voice came in and answered.
All right. We can do chat room question. Is the sun hot like fire and burns you, or is it different? Personally, I think it's a different heat. I don't think.
I think it's different.
Like the flame that we got up on the screen.
Well, if it is all electromagnetivity, then the energy from the sun, which is allegedly measurable on many spectrometers, but because of that bombardment of electromagnetic wave, it gives an occurrence of the collision of three electromagnetic waves from the sun, your oogly googlies, and what your focus is. And because of that collision of those three waves, we get a rebound of a light spectrum that comes into our oogly googlies, our lenses, our irises, and then it flips and follows our optic nerves into our brain, where our neurotransmitters and receivers will take the information data and go to other areas of the brain and say, look, it's a cat up on Jules' computer. And because of this visual spectrum that we see, on average, it is only a few layers of the full visual spectrum. So if you had the ability to create a different lens or glasses, you could see different spectrums. And here we are where they live.
Yeah.
If you have the right glasses.
True. So that's a good opening to diacinine. So it's called diacinine, this stuff, and they grind it up and paint it onto a lens. And it's a purpley blue color. Well, they say it's blue, but it's that purple blue. And you can actually buy them online, modern ones. I don't think they're as good as the ones you'd actually make yourself or the ones they originally made. So there was a fella, I know, in the 1920s or something, way back then, he invented them, these diisonine lenses, and put them in those old goggles. And then the army used them, and I've got little clips here. The army used them, gave them to their soldiers. They all started seeing stuff and going crazy, so they had to ban them. And they gave them these night vision glasses. That's what they use the blue-purple diisonine lenses for. And they changed the night vision glasses to green. Even the red ones, they said they were having problems. They were seeing things in the spectrum with the red night goggles. So they gave them green. So, but you can actually get diisonine. You can make these yourself if you are scientifically minded. And I wouldn't do it if you weren't, because it's a chemical and, you know, safety.
Oh,
So,
I'd kill myself.
yes. So I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just saying it can be done, okay? So what do we got here? Diisonine. I'm going to share my screen. And like I said, I hope I don't get into trouble for showing you all this, but that's okay. So, all right, I'll just share my screen here. Share screen. Tab. What do we got? Oh, excuse me for a minute. So this is the computer stuff. I'm supposed to be all ready and know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing. All right, it's time.
You know, truthfully, last weekend was a miracle.
Ha!
Because I'm just as technological as you.
Oh dear, and why isn't that one up? Oh, what a...
I don't know. Are you sharing your screen to? Oh, there you go.
There we go. All right.
I still can't see it.
It's one of the hardest chemicals in the world to find. And why is that? Because if you use it to make a pair of boots, it allows you to see the human energy field.
People on the earth, can you hear me? Came a voice from the sky on a magical night.
All right, so
This is by Simon.
there you go. So that's what it looks like. That's the guy. You can actually go to his site. He makes them. I'll show you his site too. How do I share to the next one? Hang on. I wonder if it just moves over. Yeah. Oh, okay, so here's another little clip I want you to see when I figure out how to share that one.
With rose-colored glasses, you can't see the blood.
Ha! It's so true, you know. I wore red glasses out one day, and I went to, what are they, takeaway shop. They, you know, get burgers and chips, and I'm looking at the screen behind them, so I could have a look at what to order. And I realised all of a sudden that it was empty. And I'm looking at it and thinking, what kind of shop has an empty board behind it? You're supposed to have all the stuff written down so you know what to order. And then something said, take your glasses off. So I slid my glasses down, and as I did, it all become visible. It was the colour of my glasses written in red. So when I looked through it with my red glasses, you couldn't see nothing. It was really funny. So there's a lesson. And that was just normal red glasses. So that takes away
Sorry, Luna. I'm busted.
Where are we now? So I showed you that one. Let's have a look. That one.
You're looking up his website.
Oh, I've done that. I've got the website here. That's the one I want. What does it say? Hang on. Oh, here we are. This is another short clip. So he's going to tell you a story about, you know how I said they gave him to the army? I'm trying to find that story. I'm a hopeless host like this. I'll take it all over the place. Anyway, we'll watch this one.
Sisters of Vietnam see demons in their night vision goggles?
The answer is yes, they kind of did. The same questions always come up when I start talking about dicyanin. People always want to regurgitate the urban legends they heard about dicyanin on the internet. One of these stories is from years ago where somebody got on a podcast and claimed that during Vietnam, there was a new type of night vision goggle that allowed soldiers to see demons and entities out in the jungle, and it was driving them mad. As much as this sounds like an exaggeration, I actually have some documentation here from the U.S. Naval Academy that indicates that is exactly what soldiers were reporting. The document is called The Secret of Seeing Charlie in the Dark by Richard A. Ruth of the Department of History of the U.S. Naval Academy. He indicates that though they used the new scopes in the field and they offered a tactical advantage, the users who used them endured physical, psychological, and emotional stress unforeseen by military leaders. Now, why would an optical tool give profound psychological stress? Let's read exactly what he says. In other intimate mythologies of the war, the eerie green landscape generated by the starlight scope was populated by ambiguous entities. Fatigue, stress, and fear exacerbated the tendency in some soldiers to misinterpret the images they saw through the scope. Soldiers described dragons and other supernatural creatures appearing from within the writhing phosphorescent murk of the starlight scope landscape. One former medic recalled using a starlight scope to monitor hundreds of dead enemy bodies after a particularly intense firefight, only to discover in the morning that the corpses were just a hallucination. Now, do military medics usually hallucinate hundreds of dead enemy corpses laying on the ground, or was this person seeing something quite unique? One patrol boat captain actually said that viewed in the eerie green glow, everything on the bank of the river seems to move, bushes become animate, and the device transformed the nightscape into something akin to an LSD hallucination. I have another article here from the Army Research and Development magazine about another type of night vision called a thermoviewer, which was even more advanced than the starlight scope from the other article. Starlight scope enhances the ambient light at night, while the thermoviewer didn't need any light whatsoever. And in these two pictures, it actually has a soldier sitting here in foliage and leaves, and you can see what he looks like through that new technology and how eerie it really is.
Crazy.
And this was being made public in 1972, so who knows how long they had been testing it before that. Now, the tone in these articles is very typical academic debunker nonsense where they narcissistically try to gaslight people out of believing the things they witnessed with their own eyes. Like the Army medic who saw a whole field of dead bodies that just apparently were apparitions. Apparently, the soldiers in Vietnam are easy targets. It's easy to write off the things that they reported as stress or drugs or, an unhinged mind. But in reality, they were making these claims. They were saying that this technology was allowing them to see very interesting things out there, and it was inexplicable to them. Seeing very interesting, energetic things that don't seem to have any physical body is very typical of what myself and others have experienced with things like our dicyanin aura goggles. And also the night vision device that I actually built here that's built with a night vision module from an old tank. I use this for astronomy, and I've seen some very interesting things in the sky using this, though it is different technology from the starlight scope. And there is a historical precedent to using filters in the infrared range to witness things in the sky. The work of Trevor James Constable. Trevor James Constable was a UFO experiencer, started in the 1950s with the Giant Rock events in George Van Tassel, and his work went all the way through, I believe, the 2000s when he passed away. And he was using optical filters on his camera to pick up hidden things that he claimed were living in the sky. Constable's books, They Live in the Sky and The Cosmic Pulse of Life, describe his work using infrared filters. Now, here's some of what he was photographing back 70 years ago with a 35 millimeter film and infrared filters. The optical filters that Trevor James Constable used haven't been available for many years. But now that I've been making the dicyanin aura goggles, I'd like to offer more optical technology for people to experiment with. So I'm working with a manufacturer now to get a batch made up. So if you're interested in using these unique filters to potentially photograph UFOs in the sky, go jump on my mailing list on my website and we'll let you know when they're available. Likewise, if you're interested in the documents that I reference, they will be in the Documents and Resources folder of my website.
Did soldiers?
There you go. Hope you found that interesting. And the guy,
Oh, very interesting.
Museum of Tarot. Please check out his site. Have a look. I can put it in the chat room, and I hope I don't get in trouble, but I love sharing other people's stuff that is worth sharing, and I'll give them, go and check him out, subscribe to him, whatever. And there's more. So what else have we got for you here? Hang on, I'll just have a look.
Well, if we think about, hallucinogenics, it's absolutely substantiated that during Vietnam, there was a lot of government testing with hallucinogenic drugs and how to disperse them. There was a movie out called Jacob's Ladder that touched upon that. And I cannot confirm or deny that I may or may not have had some mushrooms that do basically change your iris, your pupils, which will cause a fluctuation in your lenses. And since electromagnetivity is not a solid state of physical point and is ever changing, that there would be a fluctuation in that movement of what you're witnessing. So like, when you spin a top and you see a top when it's spinning at its fastest, the top spins really nice and smooth. But then as it starts slowing down, that it starts to wobble. And that wobble occurs with the electromagnetic wave. That it doesn't stay stationary in a specific point. There is movement occurring up, down, right, left, back and forth. Allegedly.
I got one more clip. This is it's another country. Where is it at? Doesn't say. Anyway, it's overseas. They actually find glass on the ground. Whether this is real or not, like the things I present now, whether they're real or not, it's up to you to figure that out. Everyone's got their own opinion. Obviously, some type of glass does exist that you can see these things in. But hang on, I'll just show you this one, and I think that's the last one I got. Where are we? More technical stuff. All right, what was that?
Sorry, I'm getting all situated and settled in. I had to put on some incense so I can get in the vibe.
That's all right. Okay, here we go.
Что-то материал и что с ним можно сделать. Вот с цветами нормально. Ладно, всем пока.
Еще, короче, целый час там простоял. Нифига больше не увидел. Ладно, давайте, всем пока.
Всем привет. Мне подсказали, что в ролике у меня еще 2 шара пролетает мимо. Посмотрел. Точно. Давайте посмотрим.
Обычное небо, обычные люди, блядь, ходят, все нормально. Оп. Вот такая.
Вот они 2 шара. Налево скорее 2 шара. Даже не заметил во время съемки, когда снимал, что там. Посмотрим.
There you go. Sorry, Nese, I'll just explain that for you. So they found a shard of glass that was broken in 2 pieces, and it's in Russia, obviously. And they held it up to the sky, and they could see a UFO in the sky, and then they pulled it down, you couldn't see it. Then they held it up again, and they saw the same UFO again. And then to the right of the screen, something flew, and I'm not sure what it was because it had 2 round circles. It flew to the right of the screen, and they captured that as well. and this is through some glass they found, which we presume is diisonine glass, but it's not coloured. This one's clear, so I don't know if it's real or not. So, what do you think?
The name of the video is called Russian Uses Diisonine Glasses to See Reptilian UFO. My question, how does he know that that's a reptilian UFO?
They just presume they're all reptilians. Isn't everything a reptilian or a grey these days?
So was the craft more of a saucer,
yes,
more of a bell, more of a triangle?
It kind of looked like a saucer, but I don't know the distance. So kind of the other one kind of looked like a bell to me.
I'm just running it again so we can have a better look. Sorry that it's small because it's on a different platform.
I believe the triangle ones are ours.
Yeah, I kind of think.
Yeah, I do too.
This one was the saucer shape. I've seen a lot of things. Actually, the reason I kind of like,
and it kind of almost looks cigar shaped.
Yeah. Well, there's them too.
And then when he first put that glass up and looked at it, the way that it was going and the size of it, it kind of almost looked like a blimp, and then it disappeared.
Yeah, the cigar shaped ones are ours also.
And then when he put up the glass again, there were the other ones.
I've seen a cigar shaped one down at Kyogo in Australia. It's out in the middle of the rainforest there. And my little antennas, they tell me there's a visitor out there quick. So I run out there, looked up in the sky. There wasn't nothing in the sky. It was a pristine, beautiful summer day. And all you could see was this big, long, black thing just hanging there. And I just looked at it. Okay. The thing is, when I see this, what kind of conversation do you have? It's like, okay, hi, I know you're there. You know I'm here. And what do? You just go about your normal business.
Well, think about it. What other big cigar-shaped vehicle can you think of humans traveling in? Besides the blimp.
I have seen the Oscar Mayer wagon mobile.
A rocket.
I'm talking about a submarine.
Oh, well, I was thinking of the sky. Yeah, submarine.
So if a submarine can have anti-gravitic propulsion, then these submarine people are already used to going out to sea, out into the unknown for 6 months at a time without even having to leave the ship. So they would be your first individuals that you would want to use for space travel and such, because they're already accustomed to going through. I mean, imagine the psychological implications that you will go through knowing that you have to stay inside a submarine for 6 months.
Oh, no thanks.
You know, and the same principle is when you go out into space. But it's a little more intense because.
Well, if you go up in an airplane to another country, it's kind of the same principle, but it's shorter time. Like it's only a couple of hours, or a couple of days. It depends where you're coming from. But no,
at least if you go up in an airplane, because of the magnetic pull back to the center of the Earth, you're going to come down. You go beyond the troposphere, then there's a point.
I got a question for you. So gravity holds things onto the Earth, right? And if you throw a ball up or something, that comes back down because of gravity.
Well, gravity gravity isn't a noun. Gravity is more of a adjective where it describes an action.
Oh, well, my point was that if it's that strong and it does that, how come you can't throw water up in the air and it makes a little ball because of gravity? Do you know it? How come it always stays flat and you can't shape it?
I wonder if it's because of the state that it's in.
Well, it'd be interesting, when you've got a spray bottle, and if you have a lens, a microscopic lens or a macro lens, when you squeeze the trigger on your spray bottle, when it comes out of the bottle, is that mist little micro balls or spheres?
Yeah.
Because then you would kind of see a little bit of that with the water, because like when you get
But then it drops down to the ground and goes flat.
the minute it hits something.
Right, it's only suspended for a second in suspension in midair.
Yep.
That it's round, so are we suspended in midair?
Yeah, that's why I love diving on the swim team, because when you would jump on the board and you'd get to that point of where you're weightless, and then you come back down.
Oh, look at me, I'm looking at the wrong thing, sorry. I'm trying to find something else for you, and I'm looking at the wrong page. I'm thinking, why can't I find it? You can't find it.
But like when you get a package in the mail and it has those packing peanuts, and all of a sudden it gets that static electricity on the packing peanuts, and you'll pull your arm out, and all of a sudden you'll see all those packing peanuts stick into your arm. That is like a metaphor or allegory, or what's it called?
An allegory.
Allegory of what's happening with gravity. Those packing peanuts are like us, and our arm is like the earth. That there's this electromagnetic pull. It's like when you have a magnet, and if you cut a magnet in half, you don't cut the top pole or the bottom pole off. You create a brand new magnet.
True. So as you can tell, me and Nese have slightly different opinions on the shape of things, but we agree on the majority of the rest. I'm trying to find this thing. Oh my god.
No, but the whole diazinon glasses, they're interesting, but it's that predictive programming that we were exposed to way back when. Only certain few were able to see beyond the rim through the bullshit. And just like today, even without the glasses, there are certain select few who are able to see what's going on and beyond it.
True. And like I said, we got our third eye, which acts. Those glasses are a third eye enhancer virtually for your other eyes. It makes you wonder. And actually, I was thinking the other day, and I think you might agree with me, Nese, it's what we don't know. Like we all know different things, but it's all what we don't know. It's about what we don't know.
Oh, I don't agree with you at all.
You don't? I don't know about that.
I'm sorry, I'm just being rebellious because
Yeah, you're right. It's in my nature too. You should
I'm not able to access chat, so hey Connie, hey Polly. Good to see you guys. Hey Donnie.
Yeah. Donnie, Connie, Buzz, Polly. Yep. Jules.
If I was to say something to the chat room, ellipsis, I would tell them how much I love them, period.
Well, I just have to tell you I love you some other time because I'm not in the chat room.
And love to you on this day. All right, I've got a little clip here, and I'm sorry that you can't see it, but we will describe it to you. Now, Donnie had to go, and he's going to kick himself because he would love to see this.
Well,
this is supposed to be a baby hairy man or hairy woman. I'm not sure because it's just laying there, and if you check the eye out, the eye actually moves, so it's real, and it could just be a person pranking it, right? So let's check it out. Get it up there first. Oh, what have I done? Okay. Oh no. Stop that. Okay, I'm gonna have to play it twice. I'll just share my screen. Share screen. La 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 la. Well, I'm doing this. Here we are. Okay. Here we go, people. What do you think this is? I'm not going to put the sound on. We're just going to watch it because there's no sound really anyway, except for a rustling of leaves. Okay, so there's a little body that looks like a little gorilla body laying in dried leaves, except the face looks more like us. Its legs are rather short, considering. Has a big round belly. And the face just looks like a black fella. I don't know. I don't think it doesn't seem real.
You promised me that you would not share my pictures with anybody.
Oh, and you're naked, no, so you got no clothes on.
All right, but
Sorry.
looking at that, when I first saw it, I thought it looks like a baby silverback, a gorilla.
Yeah, it does.
And it came back up, and I looked at it, and it was like, wait a minute. I definitely see like a human resemblance in the face. And then he kept coming up on it, and it makes me wonder, could that be like some kind of doll prop made?
Yeah, because the eye moves.
I can't disprove it or anything, but it looks, the way that the light is flickering off of it, it looks kind of flawed. It looks like it's got chips and cracks in it.
And it makes me wonder.
So,
yeah, well, I think because it says it's a dead baby Sasquatch.
I mean, unless when you're decomposing, you can see it looks glassy, and you can kind of see a reflection of yourself in it. That's a different. It looks glassy.
Yeah, you're right, Polly, because they take their dead somewhere else, like elephants. And if you have a look at the eyes, see, they move. He's not dead. It looks like someone's face done up with a pretend body. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of those old Ripley's Believe It or Not. The God, I can't remember his name, but Ripley. He used to travel, and he used to go all over the world looking for these oddities and everything. And somehow or another, I can't remember the story, but in one of his museums, he got possession of the Fiji mermaid. And over time, it was debunked that the Fiji mermaid wasn't a mermaid at all. It was a giant fish with like a baby simian head on it. And the way that it was mounted made it look like it was an actual mermaid.
Well, haven't you ever seen the infamous jackalope?
I have. But that Sasquatch thing reminds me something similar of that, because that totally kind of almost looks like a real gorilla,
Yeah.
baby gorilla's stomach.
Yeah.
And then you see like leaves and everything over it, and then you get to the face part. So I'm kind of thinking that that could be along the lines of the Fiji mermaid, where you have two things that are morphed in to make it look like one with the optical illusion.
Yeah.
I wonder if either one of you with your nimble fingers could look up the Minnesota State Fair Ice Man.
Ooh.
If they have any pictures of that. I remember as a child, it was one of my favorite things to check out. And I'm from the age of when we had what was called the sideshow or the freak show. And it was this, it almost was like a train car or a trailer, and you would go up in it and you could walk all the way around it. And it was this big, huge container of this so-called body on ice that has been on ice for years. And it was like a Bigfoot or a Neanderthal.
Oh, is that up your way? I actually heard about that. I didn't know it was near you. Did you find anything like that? Oh, no, I have a look. What was it called again? Sorry, Nese.
It was called the Minnesota State Fair Ice Man.
I'm looking stuff up. Do you want pictures?
Does it show?
Have you got them?
Well,
oh, there is one kind of picture. It looks like a chimpanzee, but more developed.
Well, I need to see your picture, because whatever I pulled up on an image search, it brought up everything underneath the sun and beyond.
Oh, really? Hang on. This is what I got. I'll share mine and then you can share yours. Ha! Okay.
1999.
Yeah, that's you got it.
And I do agree with Polly. I can't see Sasquatch leaving their dead behind like that.
No, they don't. They like got a Sasquatch graveyard.
Except Fred, the Sasquatch Fred, because nobody liked him.
Huh. So I got a drawing. That's all I got. See that? That's on the left. It's him in the drawing of him in the ice, and on the right is obviously him without the ice. But I gotta ask you. So whose ancestor and whose aunties and uncles actually look hairy? Because if we're related to them, we look like them, and would have throwbacks every now and again.
Well, that's correct too, because I'm now 55 years old, and I now have to shave once a week. And I have friends that have to shave twice a day.
Yeah.
Because by 5 o'clock they got a shadow, and I do not have a lot of hair on my body. And thank God, because I was in the Navy where I saw men in showers, and I have to say, ladies, there takes a certain special woman that can tolerate a man who's hairy like I've witnessed.
Yeah, I have an uncle on my dad's side. He's back in the chair. Yeah, he looked like an orangutan, an orange man. Yeah, and he was a reddy orange colour too. Yeah, so orange man, orangutan. He looked like that, but he obviously his face didn't, but his body did, like hairy. No offence, uncle. I think it looked cool. You're one of my favourite uncles, but yep, you could sport some hair there.
When I was a cosmetologist, I had a few clients that I had to taper their hair up and taper their back down. Because it met on the neck and the shoulders.
Oh dear. So it is in us. But it's funny, like we know that your mob doesn't really have beards like some people in the world, that the men have really prominent beards, grow really big, and others don't. Our mob does. They used to pluck them out with a shell, and they'd pluck their hairs out with a shell because it made them look younger. The men would all groom themselves. Yeah, I wonder. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are we related to them or not?
Talking about sideshows, I mean, at least I wouldn't be the bearded lady.
No, that's me. No, I'm joking.
I mean, unless it's like with a pint of something and sitting in a pub, then I would really be the bearded lady. I'd have no problem being the bearded lady.
Oh yeah, I've got a picture here.
Yeah, Grandma wasn't the bearded lady, but she had that 6'1" hair that came out of her bowl.
I know every morning I look in the mirror and it's like, please, oh, thank you. Not yet.
All right, I found something.
She used to wrap it around her neck like a scarf.
All right, so here we are, Minnesota Iceman.
Boa.
Obviously, that I doubt that's him because he was dead, right? And that guy looks like his life. No, I'm joking. All right, so we got Minnesota Iceman. We got some pictures here that just showing you caveman. I really seriously think they're bullshitting to us because the cavemen were pretty smart, and I think technology in the world just crashed. And I've heard of two stories. One was the cavemen technology crash. We're at a point where we're at the height of technology. Something happened in the earth, or we got attacked, one or the other. Everything fell to the ground, and we had to resort back to taking shelter in a natural way, because some of them cave arts show you pictures of satellites. So it tells you, and they're really good artists, like some of the top artists we have today. They're not just fingerprint stuff. The other story I heard was that, no offense anybody, but the white people were driven into the caves because they were destroying the earth, and the other people drove them into a mountainous area, and they had to live in caves for hundreds of years until they learned to not destroy, but then they escaped and wreaked havoc on the world, and then we're here today. That's another story, but it's a mentality of thinking, not actually back then the colour. All right, back to what we're doing. Here's a picture of the actual ice coffin, we'll call it, because he's dead, and the man pointing it out. And it's in black and white, and they say, so I would say it's back in them days, the original
Yeah,
picture.
looking at the picture, it looks, if I had to guess, I'd say maybe late 50s, early 60s. The jacket's really swanky. It looks like it's like silk, and it's got intricate design on it. It looks like it could be like bright colored, and the tie that he's got on, it's black, and it looks black, but the shirt is so white that all the colors on the jacket would have popped out. And the way that his eyeglasses are styled, it looks like something from that era. And the Iceman itself, it kind of I can't per se see that I see the Iceman, because looking at it, it looks like it's entombed in some kind of like cryonic refrigerator that you can look through to keep it frozen, and it's got UV lighting lining it. So the image, me looking at it, kind of looks distorted, and when I look at it, I see like the big long head like that's on the alien.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It looks more like it, but I got a feeling there's certain species of our hairy friends that have elongated heads. They're different. And here's a picture of supposedly what he looks like. I know someone that I'm taking. That's one of my relatives I'm taking. Could be, can't they?
Okay, so the way that head is could be the curvature of the arm.
Oh yeah. Because it's hard to see in the ice, it distorts the picture.
Well, I mean, and it's not that we're looking at it. The way that the picture is showing, you're like literally looking like that. So you're not looking directly at it, you're looking
Okay.
at an angle.
I don't want to comment anymore from the waist down. It is a bloke. You can tell it's a bloke. All right. There's reading. Oh, there's another picture. Yeah, still, look, he's in a big blob. Look. He's like in a big blob of ice. Yeah, no, so he's not like frozen in a nice square block. It's a blob of ice, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You'd have to see it in real life, I reckon, to actually determine.
All right, well, let's take a field trip. Fire up the short bus. We're going to find the Iceman.
Now, is that him thought out, or is that looks pretend? See, this is.
I would bet he's in the garage of someone's house right now.
Well, this is what this picture looks like. He doesn't look frozen anymore. There's no LED lights around the container. He's in exactly the same position.
They thought him out.
I can't help when I see that. It made me think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he goes to the joke shop and he locks his bike up and he walks out and the clown's up there moving around. That's the pose that Iceman reminded me of. Sorry for derailing.
That's all right. So that's supposed to be him thought out, right? Definitely a hairy man. Like his legs.
So he's no longer the Iceman. He's just the cool man.
Yeah, that's it. He's just cool now. But you can tell by his legs, like they're more like ours. They're not like a chimpanzee or anything like that. They're more exactly like our legs, the kneecaps. And he's got less hair on his kneecaps. And down, see, just underneath the kneecap there, where that hair is, and there's none on the top. That's exactly how my hairy legs are.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of. It looks like there's no hair. There's no hair on his kneecaps. It's kind of like he didn't walk. It's like he was walking on his knees and he was scooting. And he's got.
Maybe he was really popular in the tribe.
No, that's normal because that's
Each
what I mean.
his own.
The hair on my knees grows like that. I'll get more underneath and around my kneecap and just a little bit on it.
Well, even because of wearing jeans and even wearing buckskin, because the knee bends all the time, you would rub the knee enough that it would wipe the hair off.
Yeah, that's right. So here we have artist's impression of what his face would look like. You can tell he's very human looking. And he's got a turned up nose, so he might have been a snob. I don't reckon.
Are you saying Iceman was one of those elitists?
Yeah, he was elite ice. And his feet look like, in that drawing, his feet look like ours. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is he polydactoid? Is that the right word?
I think he's got 6 toes. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4? How many toes he got there? Can anyone see that? Besides
no.
No, you can't. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like he's got 6 toes. 1, 2, 3. He's got 6 toes.
Really?
6 toes, an upturned nose, and pointy ears. Yeah. But he looks human. He's got eyebrows, and his face hasn't got much hair on it at all. He hasn't got a mustache or anything like that.
Donnie says he's a hairy man. Hey, Donnie.
Hey, Donnie. I thought you'd gone. Did you see the other? Do you want to jump on and have a yarn to us? Here, I'll put this in the room because when I found this, when Nese said look at it, straight away I said Donnie needs to see this. So you can jump in if you want, or you can just keep commenting from the chat room. It's up to you, but we're speculating. It looks like a hairy man, but he's upturned nose. Most of them got a flat nose. But he's got pointy ears too. He looks like...
Well, I mean, hairy man could have different cousins.
Yeah, they are different. There are different mobs. I always tell people that. And he's from America. But yeah, looking real to me. That looks more real than the other thing I saw. The dead baby one. Oh, did you see the dead baby Sasquatch? No, Donnie, if you didn't type it in there, go back and have a look. No, I'll show you. You go back and have a look. Where'd you go? All right, Hanson's Diary. All right, I haven't read nothing yet. We've just been looking at pictures here. See, look at that. That looks even
Yeah,
more.
I'm intrigued by the pictures, and I'm totally down for learning, getting educated on the Iceman.
All right, so that's it. Let's have a bit of a read.
Oh, I forgot to say happy calendar Gregorian Equinox Day.
Oh, thank you.
3 days later.
Same to you. Yeah, belated.
Just a little belated.
All right.
You know, it's ironic though. Today I was checking up the sunrise and sunset. According to what it's telling me today, the actual equinox is on Monday.
Oh.
Which is interesting because it's ending right after the precipice of the new moon.
Well, you know what? Well, that means it's on Sunday for me. No, Tuesday?
Right.
On Tuesday. It'll be Tuesday for us. That's confusing.
And remember, everyone, I ask of thee, please, now that it's the new moon, when the sliver of the moon returns, let me know on the face of a clock where the arc is rising. The first sliver of the moon.
I just read a little bit of this. No, so it's sad. It says before his death, the creature fought a hard fight and was probably tortured. The left arm was unusually lopsided, apparently broken. One of the sockets was empty and the other eyeball was gouged out. The skull was damaged. It showed signs of gunshot. One foot was apparently decomposed as it was hairless and grey in colour. The creature was in a defensive position. Oh, that's sad. As if covering its head. I can't do this anymore. Humans are cruel. Just because you don't understand something. Yeah, so obviously a human killed him. Now you understand why, sorry, Donnie. Now you understand. I don't know. Go, Donnie. What do you think, my brother? And welcome.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like a hairy man. Not quite yowie, not quite man. That's what I can see of him.
Yeah, we'll get a bit of picture.
Yeah, he has got a distinctive look as a yowie, but he's not quite yowie, is he?
No, we can't see, in that picture we can't see the feet, but how many fingers does he have?
The reason he's not a yowie, Donnie, is because he's from America, not Australia. He's a Sasquatch.
Yeah, yowie, Bigfoot, all the same.
There you go, look. You got 6 toes, Donnie.
You got 6 toes.
Yeah, count them there, if you can see them.
I can't see it on my little phone.
Donnie doesn't count past 5.
You got 5 fingers but 6 toes, and whoever killed him, shame on you. They're probably dead now anyway. Is it what show? See his nose and his ears, Donnie? They're not. Our fellows don't look like that. They got the flat nose. His nose is upturned, not downturned. And one thing I learned about downturned noses, the wide nostrils, it's to breathe in the hot air. So it's turned down to breathe in because it's so hot we can actually cool down the air better. And when your nose is smaller and upturned like that, it's because it's cold. That's what I learned about our noses.
Yeah, the reason why he's got no bloody hair on his knees, ever thought he might be a cave dweller?
Yeah.
You know, crawling in out of small caves and crevices.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of. It's like there's something that he was doing on his knees that it's like it just seems an unnaturally large patch to be missing.
I'll tell you, he was on his knees begging for his life because some shot him.
There's probably some truth to that too.
Yeah, but it doesn't look, and the hair is shorter. Our hairy men have longer hair. They got longer hair than that on their body. And that's
I'm surprised I haven't heard of the Iceman.
It's straight hair. Notice that? Not curly. Maybe he was from old days, and he was, because some things dwindle away. And then
Well, isn't he like 7 feet tall or something like that too?
I don't know. I got to do more reading, but what I read upset me because they heard him. Let's look. I know. This enhancing the
Well,
story.
Luna, if it helps, I heard he was very flatulent and didn't care of who he should.
I mean, do you know anything of the Iceman, Nese? I mean, what triggered him to your memory?
Well, we were talking about Neanderthals and talking about the baby Sasquatch and people of before, and it made me think about that at the state fair when I was a kid, because I was that strange kid that was obsessed in the paranormal and all of that stuff at a very, very young age. And I used to get the Ripley's Believe It or Not book every year when it was released in the library.
Yeah, when I was remodeling the office space here a couple of years ago, I was going through some stuff when I came across an old box of scrapbooking stuff that it was like I kept everything, maps, but I came across the souvenir guide to Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. And it's like, I didn't realize, and then going through all that stuff, I didn't realize, not only did I go to one Ripley's museum, I went to 3 of them.
Yeah, where they used to have a comic book.
And they had a TV show in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I just read something here. It says Hanson's diary. Before his death, Hanson published a kind of diary in which he said he shot a snowman in 1960 in Wisconsin's highlands while hunting deer. First, Hanson shot the deer, but the wounded deer managed to escape. He went looking for him. According to Hanson's account, he found a deer surrounded by 3 yetis. Ripped the deer belly up and then ate the entrails and drank the blood.
Okay.
One of the creatures lunged at Hanson, screaming wildly and waving its arms. Hanson shot out of fear several times. The yeti fell dead. The hunter left a battered yeti. He came back for it a few later. I think that was a few hours later. The corpse was well preserved as it was frozen over. From the forest, the yeti found its way to Hanson's house in Minnesota, then to the freezer, then to the exhibition, and then to the hideout. Why did Hanson hide and switch the body? He claims he was afraid of the responsibility when he realized that he had killed the person, not the animal. Some interesting facts. Bernard Heuvelmans did not like the name Iceman. He never used it. He believed that the name detracted from his discovery. Wanting to find out where the find came from, scientists tried to interest the FBI in it, claiming that a sentient being was killed. However, the institution refused to initiate an investigation on the pretext that murder could only be said when a person was killed. Yeah, sure. During the Vietnam War,
back when we weren't considered people.
Yeah, that's right. Me and Nese's people, we were flora and fauna, and we're still kind of. They haven't told us any different yet. US newspapers reported that soldiers in the Vietnamese jungle were attacked by huge monkeys, but there are no large primate species in this country. Yeah, see, they're all over the world, and there's all different kinds. There's a nice thing, Minnesota Iceman. So, yeah, they're all different shapes and sizes, different colours, because they live in different areas, colder, hotter, wetter, drier. I've actually, the desert here, if you want to look around, get on Google, go to our desert, look around at some certain places, and you'll find what I call tailless wallabies. Rock wallabies with no tails, and they're a lot taller than I am. You'll see them out there with the rock wallabies with tails. Need I say no more? All right, so there you go. That's the ice. Poor fella. I just feel sorry for him. Whatever, wherever he come from, they killed him, they tortured him. We have a habit of going into other creatures' territories and think that we have the right to be there. All right, I'm going to shut up now because my wonder just turned to like.
We're on the same page.
What we don't understand, we try to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Generalizing the silly humans. They shoot first, ask questions later.
Yes. We're quite a hostile species, I think.
American policeman.
Hey, oh yeah.
Oops. Mute mic.
There's another picture. All right, so there you go. Anyone want to say any more on that before I take it off?
No, I got nothing else.
All right.
May the spirit of the Iceman be able to haunt the many generations of the individuals that perpetrated the money grab from his demise.
Yeah.
Was that a curse? I'm sorry. I take that back.
Yeah, kinda.
May we get what we deserve. How about that?
Yeah. Yes. May it all be even and finished properly, yeah, and justice be served. Yeah, poor fellas. I think they're responsible for a lot of their deaths. Thanks for that, Nese. That was very interesting.
And I'm sure it's not just them, the unicorns.
Because I'm
pretty sure we contributed to their demise too.
All right. While we're on the subject of other beings, there's a place in Sri Lanka called Lion Rock. Its real name is Sigiriya. The fascinating thing about this rock is that it's to get there you've got to climb right up. It's really, really, really tall. And it's full of caves and entrances, which they've blocked, obviously. And on top of it is water. Somehow the water goes up in the middle of the rock and comes out on top. So you can live up there for a very long time, and there's lots of people. You can house lots of people. It's all destroyed now, and there's only remnants, obviously. It's actually in good condition considering. But what we're going to look about it today is there's paintings inside of women with green skin. And
is Captain Kirk around?
There's a little vid here, and it's from a person named Svet Banja. Oh, sorry if I'm butchering the name there, whoever you are. Go and check out their site and subscribe and, the rest of it. How do I get a bigger picture here? That's better. Okay, so here we're just going to have a look of these green beings. So here we are going up the stairs. You can hear the cicadas in the background. So you walk up all the, there we are. So here we are with their, they're not wearing any tops, but there's red skinned. You yellow skin and green skin. You'll see in a second.
Yep.
See the green skin lady there? So we got different skinned people all living together here. And there's stories about green skin children that from a long time ago that they found once, and they had green skin, a little boy and a little girl. The little boy died and the little girl stayed with us and grew and ate our food and ended up changing colour. So where the world she come from, it was the sun and the environment that made their skin green. So they're not showing a great deal. I should have checked this out before I showed you, but I just grabbed it.
I mean, wasn't it the green children?
Yes.
That had that. Was it some? Didn't it have something to do with green beans and vitamins and minerals?
Apparently they came from inner earth, and the sun there is different, and the food. That's why they had green skin, because the light was different. But it's after living with us and eating our food and having our sun, they changed to our pigment. Oh, pink. Because they weren't brown. They were pink. They went pink.
Yeah, it's
They're not
been a
white.
long time. I almost forgot about them.
Yeah, pink, not white. Yeah, so I just found that interesting too. Like I said, you can see their green skin. They're not all green. Some are in yellow colour, some are normal, some are red. So it shows you that we all lived together once quite happily. Quite happily. Yeah, so that's just a thing. Another time I'll actually show you the whole Lions Rock. We'll do a show on the Lions Rock. I might chuck that in the show. Reptilians, Lewis. G'day, Lewis. How you going? Does paint stick to that rock better? I don't know. It might have. I'm presuming what they used for paint back then, the pigments was a lot different to what we got now. But check that out, Lions Rock. We will check it out on a show. I found the whole place fascinating. I'd love to go there because I reckon I'll take a hammer and a chisel and reopen those passages that they blocked up. Wouldn't you love to do that? You know how many passages they're blocked up all over the world of these interesting places, and they keep going and block up the passages. I think because whatever's in them passages eats you. Maybe. I don't know. All right. So what else have we got today? What else did I have for you? I don't know. We've covered the spyglasses, the hairy man, the rock. I think that's all I had. Just let me check.
Oh, that was interesting about the glasses.
Yes, the glasses, Dyson glasses. They are interesting, and I'd love to get a pair. Yeah, if anyone knows.
I wonder if anybody's gone over and actually looked at that website, what he's selling them for.
Yeah, good idea. There is one on a humanoid Bigfoot war in 1855. I've read that before. In America, you fellas should know more about it than me. It's your country. In 1855, they had a war. They actually shot. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. They had shot Bigfoot. That's what I want to show you. Sorry, Nese, we're doing pictures again. Where are we? Here we are. All right. First, we come up on an hour and a half. I need to go. Nature's calling, and I have to go do that. So I'm just going to leave this for a second. With a little bit of music. And we're going to have a...
We'll return these few brief interlude.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. And here's sunrise music for you.
Gosh, I'm old. Can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can remember TV jingles and stuff from like 40 years ago.
I was waiting for the music.
I don't think there's any music. It's probably just us. In a fireplace that's just a still image, but it works. So may your week ahead be far better and much superior than your week behind. So it's good to see everybody in chat. Sorry I'm not able to get in there and chat with you guys, but it's good to see Lewis and Polly's still here. And I agree with a lot of the things you're saying about Harry Man. And I saw Connie was here. Buzz. And you guys have been, I gotta scroll up, but you guys have been having a party amongst yourselves, which is always awesome. And Joe's here. Yeah, the party still goes. So how was your week apart from everything else, Nese? Love you, Connie. So I guess Nese is muted too.
Oh.
I was giving you every opportunity to yarn with me, and I'm just mockery of myself, and you're like, oh, no, you're doing good. Just keep on going.
When's the last time you've ever been out in the forest?
I've been to the country, but in actual forest. It's probably been a few years.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to do more out into the wilderness next summer, if we're allowed to have a next summer.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm back. Okay, where were we? Thanks for hanging in there, everyone. All right, we'll get rid of this music.
You had music playing.
It
because the entire time you were gone, there was no music.
I didn't hear it. Yeah, it was too soft. It was more for my benefit, I think. More for my benefit. All right, where are we? Share. We'll do some describing here for you, no saying. Oh, that's the cat next door trying to break into my house.
Oh, yeah. Little Moon in. He wants to party too.
Little Moon, yeah, but he batches up my girl cat, so there's a bit of a problem there.
See, he really likes to party.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, here, get rid of all this. Make it so you can see it better. Oh, okay, pressing things I shouldn't be, and I'm in trouble. Yeah. There we are. All right, so here we have a map. Hang on. That's better. This map, I'm going to zoom in. I think I can zoom in. Oh, too much. Oh, let's have a look around. All right, so we got this weird map from a long time ago. The reason I'm showing it to you is because it's got weird animal people on it and weird creatures. See them? And we've done this before. I showed you the guy with he's got no head and he's got the eyes and mouth on his chest. There's a couple of versions there and some strange beings. And we've got godly figures at the top. That's supposed to be Jesus or Creator. We don't know. So there are. We'll go through this. Hang on.
And on the bottom, that had like the royal symbol on it.
At the bottom.
Yeah, and the previous image.
Oh yeah. Hang on.
Yeah, like towards on the bottom in the center.
Down here.
Lower towards the bottom of the page. Yeah, like right in there.
Oh,
right
there. Yeah. I can see that. Hang on, let's have a look. Ooh. Oh. What does that say?
British Museum.
There you go. The British Museum has that. All right, we'll see little pieces of it. So there you go. You can see the little funny. Get out of there. It's little funny creatures. Sorry about that. Oh, it doesn't pop up on screen. All right, so you can see the little creatures there. We'll just have a look around. That's the map again, not coloured, or is that a different map?
Looks like a different map.
Yeah, that's it. It's the same map, but a different map, if that makes sense.
So a map within the map.
It's the map.
I love that show. Actually, here's something real funny, and it's got nothing to do with what we're looking at. I watched the movie of that show, and I loved it. I laughed my head off. My husband and me watched it. We laughed our heads off. And the kids came in the room and we're going, "You got to watch this." And they just looked at me as if, and Dad as if to say, you know, these little kids. And what was the name of that show, Nese? It's a map. What's the name of that girl?
Before we get to part this picture, I saw an image. Could you? Okay, right there.
This.
You get start in the center. Go. Just. Yeah, that's good. Start just with your eyes. Start in the center and go over towards the left. Yep. And that little cup that has the green on the side and in the back. In that water.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't that kind of look like the Loch Ness at a distance?
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of. Oh wow, I can't see him in anymore, man. You know what it reminds me of? I wonder if I do this. Hang on. No, that's not going to help. Reminds me of that book, the Voynich book. Where are we now? I lost my place. That Voynich book.
Oh yeah.
Where they bathe in waters and stuff. That's what that reminds me of. And over here we've got people eating people, cannibals. So they did exist, but they lived in a certain land. And obviously we all lived and spread out and we're all mixed up now. And this guy here, look, he's got a skin hanging over the horse. He's gone and skinned someone, or they're reptilian and they've shed their skin and he's picked it up. So it's a guy, sorry, Nese, it's a donkey and a bloke.
Okay, now I see it.
And on the donkey is a skin of a person just hanging over. Man, they got up to stuff in the old days, didn't they? All right. And then there's some creatures. And the reason, too, we're going to have a look at some unicorns because there's pictures of unicorns coming up. And there's all sorts of jokes about they missed the ark and that's why they're not around. But I think we hunted them all down because they had some special in their horn or their blood. And there's the guy with 1 foot.
Well, I always thought, I mean, I don't know where I picked this up at, but I always had thought that the unicorn horn, that was magic.
Possibly, that's why they...
It was either magic, or if you were able to possess the unicorn horn, you would have copious amounts of good luck and wealth.
Wow. So we can do a whole show just on this map alone, and the other one, like I said, they're the same map but different. The other map shows you more, I think, around the edges. The edges of the earth, no say.
With a map like that, where would you even start with a map like that? Would you start on the outside edges and work in? Or would you see, because that right there, that's definitely a mermaid. So if that's a mermaid, the other one could potentially be Nessie.
Yes.
So there's some kind of code within that map.
Big fish, and look at this shell thing. They're prehistoric. Hey, did you know something interesting too? Did you know pineapples are actually prehistoric fruit? Berries.
That I didn't know.
I did not know either.
They're from prehistoric days. You can tell prehistoric plants because they're really gnarly looking and sharp and hard. We got ferns here, not far from where I live. It's a little bit of a drive when I'm up the road. So remember, up the road in Australia isn't what you think it is. It's a little bit of ways, but up the road we got ferns. They're prehistoric ferns. They've been there. It's a special area. They're huge. These giant prehistoric ferns. They're beautiful. Just to stand or drive into that area, you can feel the ancientness of it. And we got prehistoric trees as well. They're Wallamai pines. They're prehistoric trees. And we got prehistoric ferns. So we still got a lot of prehistoric stuff. Oh, and there's a banyan tree up the road. I mean, like a 2-minute walk up the road where I live. I should video it. We've got what they call Banyan Nut Tree, and they're like a big giant pine tree, but they look prehistoric looking, and they get these pine cones on them like they're this big, right? And the nuts in them are like that, and they're yummy as. They're like pine nuts, but like giant pine nuts. But the cockies get them usually before they drop to the ground, and we can get them. I'll do a little video on that because it's a prehistoric, what I think is a prehistoric pine tree. That's what it looks like to me because the pine cones are giant. So anyway, back to this. So there's your map. Let's keep going. We'll do a show on the map if you want. Let me know. We can just do a map show. And here we have the dogmen. We've got a drawing of 2 dogmen, which was on the map. These little pictures off the map. And I think we looked at dog-headed men before and how they had a whole town and everything like that. There's the map. Yeah, you see, it's similar to the other one. So we go and looking at the map that we just saw. Oh, look, and there's the hungry people eating other people. And I always wondered, do they only eat strangers or do they eat among themselves? Because if they eat among themselves, they're going to eat themselves out of existence. So they'd have to eat other people. And the other thing, I figured they must have been really hungry and the ground wouldn't grow food and there were no animals. This is the only excuse. Or there is no excuse. See, there's the skin again. Got some others. Lion. And griffin. Is that a griffin?
Yeah, it looks like a griffin.
And there's the cyclops. Look, see the warrior? He's only got one eye. He's a cyclops.
Yep.
So these things existed. I asked someone one day, if dragons didn't exist, why are they everywhere? And they gave me a stupid answer, like, oh, that was just someone's imagination. I thought, yeah, sure. And actually, that's when I started researching all these things, knowing our people's stories about these things. And I was actually talking to a white lady when I asked that question, because I figured, you know, their churches and that, and they got stained glass. It's white fella culture. Who better to ask than a white fella? And then when you ask them, they go, no, that was just someone's imagination. And I scratch my head thinking, but they're everywhere. There's so many stories about them. They have to have existed. So I went, that was the day of my research. And luckily it was back in the day before YouTube and all that culled all their information. So I had access to really good stuff back then, years and years ago. All right, here, back to what we're doing. Here's 2 hairy, no, this is interesting. Donnie, are you still here with us?
I think we lost Donnie.
Lost Donnie, never mind. He's in, yep. These are those people with no head and their faces on their chest, but notice that they're hairy. I found that very interesting because the other pictures I showed you, they didn't look like they had hair on their body. This painting...
Oh, I remember those pictures. They didn't.
Yes, this painting here shows you that they have hair on their body. They don't have a head and their head's on their chest. And they're killing them. Who's killing them? The night people, the so-called knights and stuff. So who's the good guys? They don't look like they were going to eat you, them fellas. All right, this is interesting because the guy is really big. He looks really big, and there's a little Jesus on the cross. I don't think I like that. Yeah, so you make up your own mind. Check this painting out. It's an old painting. It's just of a guy. There's a castle on top of the rock in the background. I'm saying it like this for Nese's sake. There's deer in the background and a more ancient architecture. There's a stork-looking bird. And then we come down to a dog, and the dog's face looks more like a lion, or unless that's just the way they painted it.
No, I'm trying to like soak everything in because there's a lot of depth. Like, what are those birds with human faces reflecting in the water, where they look like snails?
That's the interesting part. Yeah, they're two little birdies. One's a male, obviously. One just looks female, with human faces. The bird people. But then next to it we have a bird, a little falcon. It looks like a little falcon or something like that. And it looks normal. Yeah, so what are they trying to tell us?
So a question for you. We just saw the previous picture of a griffin. But, I mean, has any accounts or anything to be said about griffins having human faces?
I don't know. I haven't gone into it that far. Time to find out, I suppose. It looks like a holy man, obviously. Look at his robes. He had money.
I've seen this picture before, though. It's something.
Yeah. The Harpies of St. Jerome, it's called. So who's the Harpies? Them two little fellas?
Yeah, those are the Harpies.
They're the Harpies. They're tiny, unless he's a giant. Oh, no, the dog's big. They're only little. Maybe all these things are only little. And they're making us think they're giant, and they're all little. That's that fear factor, they say, the overlords. There's just some symbols. This is just part of looking. See the dragons? We're going to dragons now. They're just... now that looks like 1509, but I'm telling you that's only 509, and Jesus's name was Jesus. It started with an I. So they put an I 509, which meant the year of Jesus, 509, not 1509. And here we have one I 514, Isus, the year of Isus. And then it got changed to a J, and then it got a number 1 put in front of it because time went further. Here we are again, more old ones. Isus 534, Isus 553. They're all dragons. So the dragons were alive when Jesus was around. So here we have kind of unicorn, but a different looking unicorn because the horn is extra long. And I have to say, because no one's actually seen a real unicorn, that could have been what they look like. The horns could have looked like a big, sharp, pointy thorn.
Yeah.
Because we like to think it's this beautiful conical thing. Like our imaginations take us wildly away to reality sometimes. So they all look normal, them horses, except for that one. Oh, look at these dudes there, the dog-headed people. Look, arguing.
So that painting is old.
Yep, it's called. Yep.
When you zoom in on it, you can see the age of the paint.
Paradise E horn. It's I don't know. It's another language. Paradise Mission. Sundenfell. I don't know what that means. It's obviously a different language. But that's interesting. There's people. They'd have you believe that we never existed with all these creatures, but we have. Oh, there's the big picture. Look. That's the Garden of Eden by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Nese. Here we have, I can't read the language, obviously. But look, they got horns. See how they're pointy horns? Some have got 2 horns. They look like camel-y looking horses. They could be the real unicorns. There's a whole mob of them, and they look like,
those do look like resemble camels in that particular drawing.
with no humps, and they look like they're talking. Notice that? These two look like they're talking to each other, because we could communicate back then. We didn't lose our communication skills with the animals. All right, I'm just going to flick through these a bit. Some are boring. Oh, they're not actually boring. It's just that it's not the subject. We're talking about elephants. Now, they're giants. See these 2 people there? She's a giant. You'll notice that giants were always royalty. In these paintings, what we got here, they're just having a war. They love war, these people. Here we are. They're coming to kill the hairy people with no heads, and they've got heads on their chest. And by the looks of this, they've got these mob to talk to them and go, "Hi, we come in peace. We want to make friends with you." And as soon as they make friends, they go, "This is our army, and now we're going to kill you." That's a short version of a very well-known story. All right. And here we are.
Buzz has asked a very thought-provoking question. Or is the rhinoceros the mythical unicorn?
Yep. Actually, I've heard that, Buzz, that the rhinoceros, the single-horned rhinoceros, was actually the unicorn. But looking at these old paintings, there's a different story. There were horse-like looking things with horns, and you'll see in some of the next slides I've got that they actually hunted them and killed them. They were killing them because they wanted something from them. Well, here we got cyclops. There's a whole whole tribe of cyclopses. They're rather large, as you can see. And who's killing them? The knights in shining armor. And do they look like they're all rounded up, like they've rounded them up? Like, oh, I just don't see it as fair. And here we have some sort of pig-headed people. I haven't seen these before. You've always heard stories of dog people, hairy man, and that, but these ones are different, and they got tusks like a ball.
You know, Nese, you know what they remind me of? Think old Disney animation, and then if you can think Robin Hood, and when they're the guards that are at the castle that are wearing their hats, and they have like the tusks coming from the side of their mouth and going upwards. That's what they look like.
And they're large as well, because the knights are on their horses, and these creatures are as tall as them on the ground. So here we have a giant. And what are they doing? They're killing him and cooking him up by the looks of it. I heard a story that the giants were actually on our side once, and they were fighting for our freedom against the overlords. And here we have more knights, but if you notice, they are also large, or they're fighting, they look like normal humans, and they're an army, right? And they've got steel helmets on that are smooth. They've got shields, and they're wearing clothes. They've got a little bit of armor, and they've got swords, but they are very tall because the other knights on their horses, they're the same size, and they're standing on the ground. Minotaurs. Oh yeah, the other ones could have been minotaurs. Good. Yes, Buzz. They could have been. All right, so they were killing the giants. Here we have obviously some more. Well, these don't look like giants. Yeah, they look like giants. And there's your king of your giants, and there's all the other giants, and they've come to kill them too. They just went on a big fat killing spree by the looks of it. You look different to me, I'm going to kill you. Why are they killing these people? They look the same size. They look the same, except one thing I noticed they're not wearing clothes. Now I heard something.
I kind of noticed that.
I heard something once that the overlords in these pictures were the ones wearing clothes, and the ordinary good people were the ones not wearing clothes. That's just something I heard. and that the overlords like fine, soft, silky material and fine clothing, soft clothing, and that obviously the others don't. And these photos are proven that. Like, you've got these dudes in nice clothes and everyone else is naked. Even the creatures are half naked, except for the giant. All right, this is a different picture.
Either that, or will you have possibly uncovered the first nudist colony?
No says wishing he could see it now. That's obviously, hang on, we'll go back just one. All right, this picture here, they reckon that these fellas are jinn, and they look like they got leopard skin, like leopards, right, and stuff. That's the story that goes with this. I think they're just other beings. They're the others, and we all used to live together until one mob decided to take over. All right. As you can see, they're depictions of themselves. So there's nothing much here I was looking at. Oh, the guy with two heads. There's another mob, people with two heads. There you go. Oh, they're snake people, look. Or something like that. They've got no proper legs. And there's your fella with no head and his head's on his chest. So these look like another country's version of the same beings, but they draw different, obviously. And here we have a creature, a knight, who is a very large knight, and a woman, a little woman, and a creature in the moat, and he's going to hit him with a bat with nails in it.
That's a nice Billy club.
Hey, yeah, it is, isn't it? All right. So I'll just move along here because I actually want to move to the unicorns, but here's your sea creatures, but Starbucks.
The siren.
Yeah, here we go. Look at them creatures. They're riding lions with tails. There was another. I'll do on another show. See how the sea creatures are eating things. There's a whole heap of things where they're feeding people to the sea creature. It's like, if you don't do what I say, I'll feed you to the sea creature. That's what these photos look like. But we'll do that another day, because I'm trying to move this because I want to yarn with no say and you can't see him and it's not fair. So we'll move past the sea creatures. Oh, look at that dude. He looks like he belongs under a bridge, not in the water. He looks like a troll.
He does.
All right. See, more feeding people to the sea creatures. See, here we are, feeding people to the sea creatures. Feeding people to the sea creatures. Feeding people to the sea creatures again. Feeding people to the sea creatures. There's so many. Look, here's another one. I'm going to feed you to the sea creature. Like, what the go? What's this? There's another one. There's so many of them, and that's what made me draw my attention. I'm thinking, hang on, this must have been a punishment or something. If you don't do what I say, I'll feed you to the sea creature. Here we are again. Here we are again. Look. There's carvings, paintings, all kinds of pictures depicting getting fed to the sea creature. That's why there's no bones, because the sea creatures ate everything, like the sharks these days. So there you go, look. But we'll go back to the sea creatures another day, because there's something in all those pictures being fed to the sea creatures. Where's the unicorns? When I did this yesterday, I came up with unicorns. Hang on. All right. Maybe we go.
You have a knack for like collecting unusual, vivid pictures that you just want to look at regardless.
I know. Yeah, I like weird stuff. Obviously, I think you've all figured that out by now. Because I'm a little bit weird. Oh, there's a unicorn. Look, here we go. It's a unicorn and a rhino. There's your rhino. Oh, keep still, will you? There's your single-horned rhinoceros. He looks like he's armoured up for battle, that one.
Yeah.
Beautiful armour on him. He's got 3 toes. There's your unicorn, but his horn looks more like a knight's jousting stick. And what do we got here? A dog. A big dog. Well, that's different. And we can't read unless anyone knows how to read that.
Oh, sorry. No good on this one.
Congratulator. You can kind of, I've noticed with other languages, they're not far away from our words. They're just different. All right, so there's a better picture. I should have just done that. Eh? The things I prepare myself for. All right, this is something interesting. See that there? That's called a Colosseum. You want to know something? They make you believe there's only one Colosseum. They were everywhere, and they weren't used for fighting. Because does that look like it's a fighting place? It looks like it's in ruins. It looks like the mud flood came in and ruined everything. Oh, by the way, I don't know if anyone's been noticing, but some parts of the world are being rained on really, really bad, and they're actually having mud floods. So anyone interested in the mud flood theory, go check it out and have a good look at what's really happening so we can suss out what did happen in the past. Just painting of people. I can't say people were very good looking back in them days. Either that or the artists weren't very good, but we're better looking people now. All right. All right, where are we? This is not where I want. There we are. So here we have a very old tapestry of a unicorn, because part of it's missing. There you go. That would have been hung on a wall somewhere in a castle, I would say. What have we got here? Just let me have a look. Is there any unicorns? So I've chopped someone's head off.
Off with the head.
Off with the head. No unicorns in this one. These are all people in purity, that's why.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
That's all right. Looks like John the Baptist said. Could be. Oh, more maps. Look, there's another map of another place. I'll just have a quick look at that. Not as exciting as the other ones, but see all them buildings? They're all over the world, them buildings. What's left of them?
It kind of looks very similar to the other one, just different detail. It's kind of like different versions of the same thing.
Someone else has drawn it. See the giant? There's a giant eating a person. Aren't we stuffed if the giants come back? Maybe that's how they're doing population control.
The giants are probably in Antarctica right now, just living free among the ice wall. And over here we have this thing, and then at the last card, the last ditch effort for population control, unleash the giants.
Yeah, the alien giants. They're not aliens. They've been in there all the time. Yeah, unleash the giants. Smorgasbord.
And then we'll find out what really is preferred, seasoned or unseasoned.
Yeah. Actually, they have the choice now. Sauced or no sauce. Preservatives or no preservatives? I wonder what they'd think. Those creatures that ate us in the old days, I think would taste a lot different now.
I'm sure we tasted a lot different then. We probably tasted better. I mean, we didn't have all this GMO and all this other stuff that we've just destroying ourselves with. Refined sugar, corn syrup solids, high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, we've been put in a pantry and we've been preserved.
Red, yellow number 5, blue number 2, red.
All right, so there we a unicorn.
I'm sure we tasted authentic back then.
Yeah, I reckon. Oh, these are just the star systems. For Nese, or the different animals there. There's a dragon and a cat, an owl, Pegasus. Yeah, so where's all my... Oh, this is interesting. See this bird? It's a weird-looking bird. You see it all over their beds and bedrooms. They say they had a bird in there to catch things that shouldn't be in the bedroom. Another word is a bird came to you before you were going to die or if you were sick. And there's so many pictures of this bird in people's beds. It's got something to do with sleeping, dying, or being sick. I'm not sure.
Oh, the juvenile in me wants to make a joke.
Make a joke. We're at the end of the show where the laughter part comes in.
The previous images with the birds on the bed. I mean, talk about literally shit in the bed.
Yeah, right. I think that's why they had them big canopy beds, so the birds wouldn't poop on them while they were sleeping.
That and
the mosquito netting and all that stuff.
Pardon, Nese?
And the mosquito netting and the insect.
Yeah.
And the canopy beds. All right, so here we are. Look, they're cutting off the unicorn's horn. So this looks like Mongolia kind of place, you know. The warrior looks like a Mongolian warrior, and his horse is armored up. And there's another deer-looking horse / deer-looking animal with a straight horn that looks like a sword, a pointy sword blade. But they're cutting the horn off, so there, that one's cutting the horn. There's another, it looks like India kind of drawing with a horse with a horn. So we do have them. This is, they're hunting the dog-headed people. So and this is what I noticed. Every single country had a different way of drawing things, different clothes, different costumes, and they all draw the same animals, but in the same beings, but in different ways. They're not animals because they've got human bodies. They draw them the same beings, but differently according to the way they draw. There's a unicorn and a peck. It's got wings, so it's a petacorn. Looks like.
Hey, Luna, while you've been doing that, Buzz has popped a question or a question to you. It says, Luna, have you heard the story of the expedition that supposedly made it over the ice wall and found the ancient republic full of the inner circle? Question.
Oh, yeah. You've been eavesdropping on my conversations lately. No, Buzz, you must you're spot on. Yes, I have. I found a book. I'll share it with you. A book. Yeah. Yes. On everything. What can I say? I've heard stories, different stories, and at the moment there's one guy, non-confundum. He's wrote a so-called story on the ice wall and all the lands behind the ice wall and all that. God, Jules, is Buzz spot on in what we've been talking about, or what?
Yeah, it's like, so I'm gonna it'll be a story, and Luna's like, we're getting ready to end it, but so I'll make it quick because
spot on.
Yeah, so you guys know Luna just as good as I do, and we were just yarning, and there was one night we were yarning, and her daughter walks by and said, "Ma, are you reading?" And it was just one of those that, not that, I mean, Luna's spiritual and gifted, and she's compelled not to. So, I mean, it is what it is. But so I guess the moral of that little snippet is that it's easier for Luna not to read to retain her wisdom or whatever. So basically, anyhow, Luna found this book and she was reading it, and she found a PDF and she shared it with me, and we read it in Discord, and it was interesting in the sense that this book, it's about the lands beyond the ice wall, the plains. They are the plains are like Saturn and Venus and the Pleiadians, and it talks about all these lands and how they were and what happened to them. It's kind of, and then in the stories there's all he tells of the overlords. What are they called, Luna?
Actually,
the guardians or the custodians.
Custodians, yes.
Custodians, yeah, he calls them the custodians. So Luna's reading me this stuff, and she's reading it to me, and I'm like, and that's that, and that's that, and that's what this is, and that's what's going on. The books were written, and he says they're fiction, but there's a lot of truth in there, and it's got us looking and thinking of things and doing deeper dives into things. Because with every story, there's a nugget of truth. And
this land ain't your land. This land is all my land.
So, yep, and the custodians are playing an awful big part of the control and everything, and that just kind of parallels the stage of life that I read, where the Sumerians and the Anunnaki and all that. So everything is just layered, and there's so much information out there. And then hearing those stories that Luna read, and then looking at these maps and seeing all those different things in there, there's a lot of interesting stuff in those books. And I mean, if you still have the PDF, we could read some of that sometime.
I have, yes.
So much to know and no time to learn it.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna have to like delete some files to take in new stuff.
So I'll finish up on this now, because now we're going to a new subject. There's a unicorn, and you can tell by the pictures I've been flashing in front of you. They killed him for a reason. I don't think they ate him. I think they killed him for their properties. So
I mean, unicorn horn, unicorn tears, unicorn anything. I mean, looking at them, they're magic.
They are. We'll get to the bottom of why they're not around another time. I'm just going to quickly jump and show you what I found for...
You have to be unicorny to hurt a unicorn.
Yeah, you do. You have to be a bit corny. All right, where was it? Finding things. You caught me unawares, thrown me sideways, but I can still get up and walk. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, I should have... I found when I was doing this stuff for last week in my notes, and I didn't show it. I found a figurehead of a unicorn.
Oh wow! All right, so what am I looking for? It was a PDF, wasn't it? Found it.
Yeah.
PDF. Yeah. Okay, here, Buzz. Delight. Look what I found. I'll share it with you, and you can read it all. I'm just going to go through it quickly. All right, let's see if I can fix this so we can read it better. No, that's not going to work. Oh, no, that's not going to work either. All right, so here we are. We're Terra Infinita, extraterrestrials, worlds, and their civilization. The story told by the woman born in lands behind the ice walls, by Nos Confundum. Go to his website, please. That's not his name in English. That actually means something like you're being lied to. It's bullshit. I laughed when I found out the English version. I can't read this. Hang on.
And this guy, I don't think he actually wrote these books. I think he's like telling you about these books and breaking them down and giving us some and kind of like a insight behind the story.
Oh, he wrote them. I think this guy did write them.
Because I've seen them on online, and they were written by another dude.
Oh, right.
Read the writing on the ice wall.
I like that. All right, so we have a problem because it's too small. I can't read it.
Well, use your incredible powers of shrinking and.
I'll tell you what I can do.
Yeah, like this is the 21st century episode. Honey, I shrunk the font.
Oh.
The incredible shrinking font.
Oh, here we are. The shrinking font. All right. There is another way I can do this. Just bear with me and I'll read it out
Yeah,
for
it's
you.
called the Hokey Pokey.
Damn. Hang on. This is hard.
Oh, I guess we can't read the writing on the ice wall.
No, we can, but I just got to figure out how. Just hang on a second. I got a better.
If you look at the very bottom of the PDF, sometimes you'll see where there's a little icon you can click on and increase.
I'm trying to get another window up, but it won't. Oh, far out. This is where my technologically impaired stuff comes in, right?
So many nights I sit by my window waiting to figure out how to open another one up.
All right. Yeah, I am opening it. That's what I'm doing. Okay, now I can read it. All right. I'm going to read probably just a couple of pages because it is quite lengthy.
We're also validating the fact that in Australia they have a poor public schooling system also.
Yeah, that's true. I won't deny that. All right. So this first bit is about how it kind of come about, but it's kind of gets in. All right, so I'm just going to start reading. All right, 9:15 a.m. marked the clock in this suffocating and sad grey room. My eyes barely opened, and they somehow tried to give me an overview of where I really was. And I'll just move this to a nice picture for you. There you go. I must admit that every day I found it more difficult to adapt to this world. My mind takes minutes to realise that I am back in the walled lands where my ancestors walked. I found a rolled up newspaper on the floor that said June 22nd. That's how they count the days here. Each one faithful to their so pigeonholed grid, where it seemed that nothing can get out.
Wait. Sorry for the interruption. What date did they say it was?
June the 22nd.
That's my birth recognition date.
Oh, nice. Freaky.
And Luna, before you go and this is what I was talking about. You're reading, and then I'm like saying, like, well, this is real time. So just happened to land on chapter 3. I was going to read the lands of the custodians.
Okay.
Parasitic race, as we briefly indicated in the first chapter, are beings that base their technology on attack and defense weapons, using all the potential in the discovery, colonization, and exploitation of other lands, as well as the beings they can find. I mean, it's like super small here. I'm just like literally looking at a screen, but it's like it goes with kind of what's going on now, but yet it was supposed to be fiction.
Yeah, I know. That's why I liked it, because it's supposed to be a fictitious story, but there's too many points in there. You go, bing. All right. I'm trying to read quickly now. Yeah. Where was I? June the 22nd, right, that's where it was. Okay. Partners and abyss. Darkened script. They created the forced partners of this abyss. Hang on. You threw me right up there, Jules. Hang on. Where it seems that nothing can get out of script. The mundane script that they created for the forced partners of this abyss. Dark and sinister. A humanity that seems to bleed day by day without realizing that it collides with every day against the crude reality that they let long ago all this become something immovable. This cannot be called life. I thought to myself every time I visit the lands where my father was born, my grandparents, my ancestors, those who left their lives to see a free humanity. And I find this. It hurts my heart to imagine the bones of my brothers who must still be buried here in these lands, who left their lives so that everything would be different. Curious way of living, I thought, while turning on and off a small lamp next to an old bed. Here, without a doubt, there is a strange way of creating a false need for objects. I got thunder roaring above me while I'm reading this. This humanity seems to be paying for the sins of its past, having tried to be free. I understand that although it is very unfair and it is a thorn in the side of all of us who come from the other side, the free side behind the wall of ice. Pay for a place where they were born. This phrase went round and round in my head. That's why I knew well the faces of those adventurers who managed to find the other lands, the lands of the giants, or the lands where I was born so many miles away from here. But a very high price had to be paid. That's why I came back. That's why my father died, leaving his legacy. We never forget the new humanity that was born in these lands, deprived of their freedom and their true history. Maybe it is time to start opening those walls of fear, as I like to call them, that terrify us for a past where a war was lost, but freedom was won, that the dead have not been in vain or forgotten of the custodians want. They buried a large part of human history and manipulated it. Worst of all is that they convinced them, and now many defend their history and their soil they inhabit. This world is a very different place to survive. In addition to a high toxicity in what you breathe, eat, drink, there are also enough dangers that make it an unfriendly place. And for those who manage to escape with little desire to return. But as I always say in my heart, I have these lands so rooted. When I sleep on this ground, I reconnect with my past, with my dear father, William Morris, who swore to defend and rescue the new humanity from the parasitic lands of the custodians. Okay, you want me to keep reading? Chat room, you want me to keep reading? I can't see the chat room.
It's whatever you want to do.
Actually, where are we at? We're at
2 hours.
I'm not going to keep reading. No, what I'm going to do is quickly skim now. That's what we're talking about. And read a bit of the custodian. I'm just going to read the custodian thing because we're getting to 2.5 hours now. What I can do, if you do want to hear the rest of it, we'll go to Discord after the show and I'll read it for you. So here we are. I'll put this in the chat room, by the way, and I hope I don't get into trouble. Otherwise, there'll be no show next week. Right. So the lands of the custodians. You read the first paragraph there. Their beginning is unclear and full of questions. There are theories.
Before you get started, Buzzga's got a couple of things. If there were lands outside of the ring, then old and or other creatures may exist there. And when they first get the occasional sighting of something weird here, maybe it's one of them from that escaped the ring. And then what if one of the tunnels beneath Loch Ness leads to under the ice wall, and Nessie is actually a plesiosaurus?
Yeah, I always thought Nese was a plesiosaurus, a dinosaur. Because, like I said, well, I just explained we had dinosaur plants still here, prehistoric plants. And when I knew that when I was young, I thought, well, it's natural that there are other things they're still existing somewhere. And I've showed you those those pictures and paintings. It shows you that in these lands, we killed everything that was strange. They came from other lands near us, and obviously we live with them. We killed them all, and I presume they're still alive in their own lands. And I don't blame them for, oh, well, I don't know who killed everything here. Was it the custodians? All right, I'll keep reading. Where was I? I'll start again. The beginning is unclear, full of question. There are theories among the giants where it is said that the custodian race was attacked by some other race that did not even come from this great dome, and that they merged with the locals to create a great force that later gave origin to the custodians. This would explain the reason for their great development over other races that were still in their infancy, trying to survive within their circles. The custodians, it is said, were the first to leave their world and advance on their way to the others. The great destructive and colonizing power having reached each of the worlds and tried to explore around the known end of the worlds. Why they have been defeated on at least 2 known occasions by 2 completely different races, it is certain that they are also vengeful, and that if they have not yet tried again, they will soon. The custodians, as the only race, were the ones who attempted to enter the celestial lands that very little is unknown. These lands are the most mysterious of all known worlds, and while almost all of the races existing today are aware of this place, very few dare to want to penetrate it. The story goes that humanity, in a way, comes from these lands, and that each of the humans have the source of life energy, also called soul, that comes from these lands. Therefore, the human destiny is to confront the custodians, that whatever is done, the great clash will be inevitable. Although it has already been tried and the great forces between humans and custodians have collided with the help of the Anakim giants and others, history will surely repeat itself again in these lands. For that reason, we are very aware of everything that happens here. Any opportunity to free humanity will be used to the fullest. Also, we cannot make the mistake of the past. Otherwise, it is possible that now we may never have another opportunity. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that because I need a drink and stuff. And we've been on, like I said, we've been on for nearly 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And I want to finish off with your thoughts, Nese, Jules. Big show, like we bit a lot of information.
Yeah, Nese's muted. I mean, I haven't had time to really look deep into it. I mean, it's before I jump 100% in. I mean, I have questions, and well, I don't completely agree with some of the stuff, but then again, I also see where it's like, wow, that's today. So, yeah. I mean, if you'll drop the link, I'll read it.
And even
I never actually did read it proper.
Right. And even just for the fact that it's like a lot of today, read it for that. Don't worry about the ice world flat earth thing. Just read it for the who it is doing what, you know.
No, it's not the whole flat earth, round earth thing. It's that this is out there. I mean, there's so much information that's not forthright. So I'm not discrediting it. I'm just looking for others similar to this to see how they parallel and where they're different.
Yeah. So let's take a wee break and make a cup of tea. I need a wee break to make.
I mean, I mean, if I don't know if Nese is cool with it, but I might have to dip out on you guys because I got work in the morning.
Oh, you got to work tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, one thing that I ponder as I am about to enter in the recesses of my mind, so let me.
Bye-bye. And bye-bye. So long. Toodles.
Please.
I love that. Okay.
I've enjoyed the opportunity, as per usual, to yarn, as they say, down under, with the two of you, miraculous perfections of unique individualism. And I look forward to our Friday nights together because it reminds me so much of our dear captain. And because we are on the precipice of the new moon, this is, it's now been 9. This is the starting of the 9th new moon of the transformation of our dear friend.
Yep.
Still miss him greatly.
Same
here.
Yeah.
Except when he's messing with my computers.
And we noticed that when we had Nano Girl on last week, there was not one computer problem.
No, he was like behind the scenes making sure that went down.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, I've enjoyed sharing that information with you all tonight. Thank you.
I've been sitting here this whole time and I didn't have my camera on.
And thank you for joining me, Nese and Jules. As usual, love having you here. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Check out Discord.
Yep, check out Discord.
Tomorrow evening, we'll probably be trying to gather, apparently.
Yep, and I'm going to try and put the address in here. I forgot how I got it last time. How did I get the address? I forgot it. I'm going to fix that. I can always go back and put it in later. I'm not going to spend half an hour looking for it right now. All right, well.
There you go. Just take that ship and cut the ropes.
That's it. Just move forward. Yeah, love to you on this day. Remember, Creator loves you. You are loved. Stay centered, stay harmony, stay in peace. I know it's really hard sometimes. We all have trouble, but that's just a test of your strength.
Don't forget the almighty pinky toenail also tolerates you.
Okay, and on that note, Yalu, like I said, thanks for joining us earlier, Donnie.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Yalu, love you all.
Yep. It's not on my channel. It's on the Bitter and the Sweet. Remember, we're in the same house.
Yeah, we're hopefully working on something. So, yeah, join us tomorrow night. We'll possibly learn about that. But I'm gonna rock out. But I love you guys. Take care.
See ya.
Toodles.